Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and super intelligent shades of the color sky blue, pink, however you identify. We really couldn't care any less. My very, very special guest is Nurse Rebecca Bavary, who is obviously a nurse. She's also a US Army wife, an expert in ketogenic nutrition and a bunch of other stuff as well. So we thought we'd just have a bit of a chit chat, see what's going on, get caught up with one another because we haven't spoken for a bit.
A hot minute.
Well, exactly. And then you can fire some questions at us in the usual format, please. Large capital Q, colon, then write your question out in full. Don't use TLAs, they're a PITAFFS, and suffix the whole thing with a question mark. That way, His Royal Highness, His Majesty, Lord Edward Yellow, King of the Bears, will be able to find those questions much more easily and put them up on the screen for your enjoyment, perhaps. Anyway, Rebecca, what's happening? What's up? What's new? Who's up who? Who's next? Who hasn't paid?
Who hasn't paid? I don't have any idea. No, what's new with us? Well, I just finished one class and still have my 4.0, so that's fun.
Ooh.
I know, the great 4.0. I'm scared to lose it. But getting ready to start more classes next week. And
right. Tell us about that.
Pharmacology. So I transferred to this university from another university. And I made an A in my first pharmacology class, but it was deemed unworthy to transfer to this new one. So they're making me retake it. So that's thousands more dollars that I have to pay again. So yeah, donations are accepted. Just letting anybody know if they want to donate to my college professor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get rich, boys and girls, by being a college professor.
No. I'm hoping to become a nurse practitioner. That's the goal, the end goal. So I'm in nurse practitioner school.
Right. Awesome.
So
okay. And you have a posting, so you're going to have to move this summer.
We are moving this summer. It's crazy. I just realized it today, like how many life things are all happening. Like life milestones are happening from the end of May until July. So my kids turn 18 on May 29th. They graduate high school then the next weekend. And then we go on a cruise because it was our 20-year anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
And then thank you. And then we move to a whole other state. And so it's absolutely crazy. Hi, Dennis. Good to see ya.
All right. All the way from Goose Creek, South Carolina.
Yeah, it's right under, not too far from me. Not too far.
Yes. Excellent.
But yeah, so it's going to be a crazy whirlwind of a couple of months.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, DC, good to see you, mate. Good to see DC in the house. All right. So moving, resetting courses that you shouldn't have to reset. What else is happening?
That's it. Well, and I mean, my son has strep throat, but I don't think everybody really cares about my son having strep throat. It's
terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
good.
Bev has a question.
All right.
She says, no disrespect, but who is this and what does she do? I guess I should probably do an introduction.
You bet.
A little tiny bit.
With the whole story of Rebecca. Let's have it.
The whole shebang. So I am a registered nurse. I'm a certified primal health coach and a certified ketogenic nutrition specialist. I am a volunteer health coach over in Dr. Ken Berry's PhD community. I'm also the assistant production manager for Healing Humanity, which is a documentary coming out about the power of a proper human diet, which is the carnivore diet. And yeah, I'm in school to be a nurse practitioner and hopefully be a low carb friendly provider that is going to heal people instead of being a drug dealer. That's my goal. Lofty. It's very lofty.
Yeah. So basically, you're here to make America healthy again.
Yeah, I would like to. Maybe politics one day, because
Oh God,
it's
you don't
really
want to go there. Ooh.
I know, but that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah, so they say. We can't be
Yeah.
promoting other courses of action here on the YouTubes, can we?
No, no, no.
No.
I'm here to make like ripples. So I did this gave this kind of little spiel at the Healing Humanity meetup. You're welcome, Bev. And my goal is to make ripples. Like every time one of us tells our stories. So how you healed, or how carnivore changed your life, or the proper human diet changed your life, or however you want to phrase it, you touch somebody else's life, and then they go and touch somebody else's life. And, one ripple, one drop of water in a pond can make a tsunami across the pond. So it's like we need to just each go out there and tell people and touch other people's lives and make ripples. And because that's how we change the world, one person at a time. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Fully in support of that. And so that's one of the reasons why we like to do these collaborative, you know, simulcast live streams with all sorts of folks from around the community.
mhm.
It's all about cross-pollination. It's about hopefully putting everybody in front of the largest number of people possible, so that the folks that are out there that want to learn more about this can find the people that they can relate to and want to listen to. Because at the end of the day, believe it or not, Rebecca, not everybody finds my persona soothing.
That's okay. A lot of people don't like me either. So I have a very type A personality, and I'm very like in your face and loud, and I don't mean to be. So,
Yeah,
but you either like me or you don't. If not, there are plenty of other people that are quiet and calm and very soothing, and they can go there, and that's great.
yeah. I guess that's my whole point, is that, what you need to do, I think, if you're at all on the fence about any of this, is listen to a broad range of people that speak in the space and find the one that you can relate to.
Yeah.
Yes. That doesn't necessarily mean everything that comes out of their mouth is correct, because let's face it, there are people running around saying all sorts of crazy stuff.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
this week it's James DiNicolantonio.
Oh,
Again.
boy.
Again.
What did he do this time?
It's the same ridiculous, nonsensical, anti-scientific, rubbish, pustulous, excremental garbage that he was saying before I corrected him last year in a series of 4 or 5 videos where I basically eviscerated the boy. And what he's basically doing, instead of learning from his mistake, apologizing and correcting his messaging, he's now doubling down and saying the same stupid shit again. So I'll be dealing with that this week as soon as I get around to it.
So what did he say? Because apparently I'm not up on the feud between you two.
Well, it's not so much a feud, because at the end of the day, James is not important enough in my life to be worth any kind of
He doesn't live
emotional.
rent free here.
He
Okay.
doesn't live in my head at all, basically. For those that don't know, James DiNicolantonio is a PhD holder in the field specifically of pharmacology, not nutrition, by the way.
Oh,
Pharmacology.
he's pharmacology.
Yeah.
Why did I think he was nutrition?
Because he's touting himself as an expert in nutrition, when in fact he's a pharmacy PhD holder, pharmacology.
Hey, listen. I've been through farm once, and I got to do it again. Props to anybody who gets a PhD in that shit.
So, yes.
Okay.
Well done for James in getting a PhD in something. It's not nutrition, so he shouldn't be talking about nutrition. That's not his field.
Okay.
Secondly, he has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of peer-reviewed publications in his name. He has a very significant academic publication record. So props for that, James. Great stuff. Unfortunately, however, what James does not have is any control over his ego. He thinks he knows everything. He thinks he knows everything. And he's come to this conclusion based on a completely inept view of science, suggesting that if you eat nothing but meat and fat, that will cause low-grade acidosis, which is false, James. It will not. It cannot. That's a physical impossibility. And that this low-grade acidosis, which doesn't exist, James, still, will then cause leaching of calcium from your bones, thus causing osteoporosis and you crumbling over decades into a pile, which is absolute rubbish.
Wait, is this
go.
the video that JT or Carnivore JT just eviscerated?
Yes.
Oh, that was him?
So did Richard Smith from Wales. He had a go at it as well. And I'll be doing a Bart Kay version of it this week as well. Yeah.
I can't
now,
wait.
What James is doing, by the way, anytime anyone comes on any of the social media platforms and points out that he's actually, despite his publication record, etc., that he's actually a charlatan, an imbecile, and an ego problem boy, he just blocks them. So
he's one of those. He's one of those.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, James. Oh, and by the way, also, I guess it's fair game because it is. James also sent me an email message last week, which seemed to be somewhat conciliatory after last year's exchanges, sort of suggesting that he, had some second thoughts about how our exchanges went last year and that he regretted those and et cetera, and perhaps he and I would like to have a chat and, bury the hatchet and talk about the issues. Turns out 3 or 4 emails later that actually what he wanted to do was double down on the same ridiculous bullshit again. Say the same ridiculous things I've already corrected again, ignore the facts entirely, and be an arrogant prick, basically. So, sorry for any of those that find that kind of language, challenging. Sorry, not sorry.
What's interesting is that we the physiology just doesn't match. What is being said does not match what happens in the body.
That's right.
I love pathophysiology. It's like I'm a nerd. Like some of my teachers at school were like, "You should get your doctorate so you can come teach it since you like it so much." I'm like, I don't know. Let me get through my master's first. But it's like we've debunked the alkaline diet.
Yeah.
We've done all. Oh, thank you, Terry. We've done all that. So it's like, what? It has nothing to do with the blood pH is so tightly regulated by the exchange of sodium the excretion or holding of sodium bicarb. It's and hydrogen, obviously, but it's so tightly wound. So unless you've got kidney problems or lung problems, it's very hard to be out of balance. Very, very, very hard.
Yeah. In fact,
it's simple. It's so simple.
It is so simple. Look, the only time your pH goes out of the physiologically tightly controlled range is immediately before your imminent death. It does not happen otherwise. Your body will not allow it.
No, because you have the compensatory mechanisms in place. When you exercise, you become okay. So this one, I'm going to forget it. So, or have trouble remembering. When you exercise, you become acidotic, right?
Well,
or do you become alkaline? Come on, just stop.
Yeah.
because you're going to because then that's why you hyperventilate. Like you exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Your the pH goes out of whack. So you have to breathe faster so you can blow off some of that. So it's very compensatory.
Yes. You're correct in saying that the body compensates for any attempt to derange the pH by any influence, basically, right up to the point where your body is about to die. You've given up and this is the end of your life. Okay. To say that exercise makes us acidic is not correct. It does no such thing, in fact.
Okay.
We can cover that at some point if you like. But in the meantime, health coach Joff is here. Good to see you, Joff. Kia ora e hoa, kei te pihi a koe. Kei te pai. That's just a bit of the native lingo from New Zealand for those that don't understand all that.
Is that Maori?
Yeah. Maori. or badly pronounced, people usually say Maori.
I'm from
Maori.
West Virginia, Maori. It's Maori.
It's spelled Maori. Is the what
I think it's a beautiful language.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Isn't there like a word? I'm going to say this. I'm so going to say this wrong. Is it like Kataki Tonga? Or it's something very similar to that.
What's the concept? And I'll probably be able to give you the word.
I think like togetherness.
Right. Okay. There is a concept which sounds a bit like what you're talking about there. It's called whakawhanaungatanga.
It wasn't that
which basically means to come together to make family.
Okay.
And what Joff is saying there is kia ora, which means hello, acknowledgement to whānau, which is the broader family. So yeah.
Nice.
It's a great language.
It's a beautiful language.
Yeah. Anyway, kia ora iho, which means my friend, hello. There we go. Yeah, okay, so anyway, we were talking about exercise and acidity. Now, any exercise physiologist will tell you that the pH of blood at rest is around about 7.35 to 7.45. And then you do exercise and it causes you to release a bunch of lactic acid, they'll tell you, which is false. No such thing occurs, in fact. And that your pH of your blood at the end of a exhausting exercise protocol to volitional exhaustion will lead to a decrease in the pH of your blood to something like about 6.8, which is correct. That does occur. However, does that mean that you have become acidic because your pH is now below 7? Well, no. Why not? I shall tell you.
Oh, good.
Because
physiology
the pH,
lesson.
Here we go. The pH of pure water, Rebecca, is
7.
Yes, 7.0.
Yeah.
However, what's usually forgotten after that is a comma at 25 degrees Celsius. That's when the pH of pure water is 7.0. If you heat pure water to 37 degrees Celsius, which is body temperature, or 98.6 degrees F, the pH of that pure water will drop to 6.8.
So it's could also
not
be
acidic.
Heat. No, but it could also be that the heat is doing something to it.
Well, that's exactly what it is. The heat causes a change in the value of the effective dissociation constant or auto-ionization constant of water, which means that the pH of pure water at 37 degrees C changes from 7.0 to 6.8. So, in fact, you never become acidic, even at the end of a totally exhausting exercise protocol. There you go. There's a bit of
nice
physics and facts for you. Yeah.
I like it. I'm nerdy. I like it.
Yeah.
I could sit and listen to you like lecture on this stuff all day. Just FYI.
Unfortunately, we don't have all day. Otherwise, I could talk all day about such things, but there you go.
I know.
Yeah.
I still think that we need to do a monthly thing where we do these things.
I'm down. Yes. All right. So, questions from the floor are welcome. I think we've done preamble. While people are thinking of their questions and writing your questions up, do put a large capital Q in front of it, as I said before, and a colon, and then type it out in full, and then put a question mark on the end. While you're thinking of that, I think, Rebecca, you should go through all the places people can find you on social media, those that aren't already linked up, and get it sorted. Yeah.
So at Rebecca Bavry, CPHC is my YouTube. If you just put in Rebecca Bavry into Google, there's no telling what you'll find. But I am the only one in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow.
Well, my husband has a very unique name that's not a real name. Sort of. It is a real name.
Okay.
Ellis. It's an Ellis Island name.
Okay.
So it was just made up at Ellis Island. So there's two brothers that came over, and Bavry is one brother, and Bevry is the other brother. So that's how you know.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yes. I've got a bit of that in my background as well. On my mother's side of the family, the surname is one that was made up.
Okay.
It was apparently the ancestor that came out to New Zealand was an Irish bloke with a certain surname, which was a well-known Irish surname.
Like Campbell?
And I'm not saying what the surname was because that would be doxing myself, but
Well,
there was.
I'm related to Clan Campbell, just letting
There
you
you
know.
go. There you go. Anyway, so this Irish bloke comes out to New Zealand, but it turns out he was kind of a deserter or something and was trying to like hide from the authorities and didn't want to be found and that. So what he did apparently was put Mick in front of the Irish surname he had and pretended he was Scottish.
That'll work.
Anyway, that's for another day.
Some pretty interesting things.
No, acid is not a myth. Acid exists. It's a real thing. What I'm saying is human beings, the blood of human beings does not become acidic, even at the end of an exhausting exercise protocol leading to volitional exhaustion, where everyone says, oh, you're full of lactic acid, which is false. It is not correct. But acid is a real thing. Yeah.
I love the lactic acid buildup thing.
Yeah, it's nonsense. Never happens. What happens is lactate, not lactic acid, builds up, and lactate directly influences the pH by virtue of its effect on the strong ionic difference in the fluid pool, thus causing a change in the effective dissociation constant of the water. So there it is. If fruit and sugar has been around for many thousands of years, and people in those climates consumed it almost all year round, as it's available, would we be able to detect from their bones with tests? Yes, we could detect it. We could use stable isotope nitrogen 1314 testing to determine exactly what the makeup of any given human being's diet was from the collagen in their long bones, which remains viable for hundreds of thousands of years. And in fact, that has been done. And it turns out that human beings all over the planet, including in equatorial zones, for the last 350,000 years, it seems, have eaten almost nothing but the meat and fat of animals, right up to about 11 or 12,000 years ago when the agrarian revolution occurred. So we haven't been eating a bunch of fruits, vegetables. No. Well, we have for about 11 or 12,000 years, starting with the cultivation of grasses like wheat and stuff. And then the selective breeding and cultivation of modern fruits and vegetables, many of which do not exist in nature without human intervention to make them exist.
Like broccoli.
Yep. Yep.
Broccoli isn't even real. I mean, it's real, but
Yes.
it's a man-made creation.
Yes.
It's not even a great one.
No, it's horrible. Anyone that eats broccoli, we can't be friends. What questions should we ask? I don't know, standing scone. What would you like to know? Anything at all. Ask us anything. We're an open book.
If I know something, I'll tell you.
That's right.
Ooh, I like the next one though.
All right, let's have it.
Does a very high reverse T3 and low T3 mean hypothyroidism or Hashimoto's? Always feel the cold more than others. Well, number one, Hashimoto's is defined as having autoantibodies. So you'd have to actually look at your TPO and TG antibodies. Usually it's TPO that are high. TG in some cases, and that's Hashimoto's. That's the actual definition, is having the antibodies to it. As for hypothyroidism, it could mean hypothyroid if you have a high reverse T3 and a low T3. It could, but I'd want to see all your other numbers and I'd want to see all of your other symptoms before I would make recommendations on what to ask your physician for.
Beautiful. Spot on. Here's another great question. Should carbohydrate intake fluctuate based on whether one lives in a warm climate or cold one?
I mean, in my own opinion, I think that some people can get away with eating seasonally, with what's in season, if you're metabolically healthy, but not everybody can. And what is it? Like 88% of the population is metabolically jacked up. So only 12% are metabolically healthy. So which category are you more likely to fall into?
Yeah. I think, Rebecca, that the key word here is that, well, the differentiation that we should make is the difference between should and could.
Mhm.
Could you jump off a bridge
Yeah.
100 meters above the water? Yes, you could. Should you do that?
No.
Probably not. The same is true of carbohydrates. The exact requirement for the intake of exogenous carbohydrates in human beings is
0.
not 1 single gram ever. None. You can take some in, and the individual tolerance is just that, individual. I suggest it usually falls somewhere between none and 50 grams per day for most people.
Agreed. I think that
Go
there
over that
are
and you're
certain
asking for a problem.
athletes. I think that there are some athletes that can get away with more. Some
Yeah.
athletes, but we're talking about like the 1%ers.
Yeah. And when you say get away with, that means at that time.
Yes.
Yeah. Because later on, there's a price to pay. There ain't no free rides here on this planet.
No, 20. I was eating like crap at 20 and looked okay. Like, and life was good. No health problems. 20 years of eating that way will kick your butt.
Yeah, exactly. All right. How long does it take to reduce fasting insulin on a carnivore way of eating? And does taking berberine help?
Do you want me to take a stab?
You bet.
Oh, okay. So I've seen people's fasting insulin come down super fast. Just depends on how, I hate the term, but insulin resistant you are. It's a funky term, but I get the concept. If you're somebody that has been struggling with diabetes for a long period of time, it's going to take you a while to get that to heal. But if you're not doing this for diabetes, you can drop your fasting insulin within like a month to 2 months. However, most people it's going to take at least until you're fat adapted, which can take 12 weeks ish. Does taking berberine help? Berberine can help lower blood glucose levels. I do not like berberine. Something that people do not talk enough about is the side effects of berberine and the P450 system that it absolutely interferes with. And I don't like it. I don't think people should take it. I would rather somebody go take metformin because metformin has less side effects than berberine. And that is from my medical herbalism book that I have.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree absolutely entirely in terms of, the intake of any of these kind of things. I myself actually don't suggest metformin either. While you're quite right, it absolutely is less problematic than berberine. It's still not problem-free. I tell you what is problem-free: eating a species-appropriate, species-specific, or proper human diet.
Yep.
For long enough.
But I will. Go ahead.
It takes a while, doesn't it? To sort of like if you've people often, when I'm consulting with people often say, "How long does it take for my health to come right?" To which my response is always the same. Well, how long did it take you to mess it up?
Yeah.
Give your body a chance.
Yeah.
Just
well, I want to do a caveat to the fasting insulin. I can't get mine below 10. Like 8.8 to 10 is where mine stays. And is that horrible? Absolutely not. It's fine. But I have thyroid problems. And if you have thyroid problems, it messes with your glucose metabolism. It messes with like your insulin secretion. It can cause insulin resistance. There's so many things that can cause that fasting insulin to be up. It can be cephalic phase response, so.
You just said phallic. Cephalic, you rude people. Pay attention. Goodness. Yep, you're quite right. Absolutely. Love it. Dry fasting. Tell us all about it.
What, about dry fasting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are people that like to try to do it for long periods of time. I do not recommend doing dry fasting for long periods of time. Water is important. I think that if you're going to do dry fasting, it actually should be monitored by somebody if you're going to do it for longer than 1 or 2 days. once you get past that, you're getting into some dangerous territories because your electrolytes can get off. And yeah, to me,
Yeah.
it gets a little bit dicey.
Yes, agreed. I generally cap it at 5 days in terms of my suggestion if anyone's going to do it at all. There are people that are talking about doing it for up to 11 days, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. You should not do that, I think, personally. Personally, I've never got past 3.5 days before I've had to pull the pin because some of the signals I'm watching go out of the range that I find acceptable. So I stop.
Yeah, if people are going to do it, they need to be writing down, they need all the things. So you should be taking your blood pressure.
Yep.
You should be watching your pulse rate. You
Yes.
should, I mean, I wouldn't mind somebody having the little EKG finger thing to watch because once those electrolytes get off, what happens? You get
Yeah.
cardiac arrhythmias. So it's like,
Yeah.
it makes me nervous. Dry fasting makes me nervous.
Well, I think that's entirely appropriate. And I think that this is not something that you should go at gung ho.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. You should absolutely have someone who knows what they're doing, monitor you, count your fingers and toes regularly, and pay attention to what that person tells you as to whether it's time for you to stop now.
Yep.
So yes, agreed. Absolutely. Dry fasting is a useful tool if it's used correctly.
Yes.
But it's not something to just go at because you feel like it and, isn't, I can be the most extreme dry faster there is just to prove a point. No, you're putting your health at risk.
Yep.
Okay, are genetics important for deciding what kind of diet to follow?
I'll let you do this one.
No. What's next? We're all human beings. We're all built the same way. We have the same gene set. We have the same organ systems. Sure, there are individual differences in things like tolerances to abuse and, ability for us to maintain health despite doing the wrong thing and whatever else. But at the end of the day, it's called a proper human diet for a reason because we're all humans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Thoughts on coconut milk for cooking?
If you can't tolerate dairy, I guess if you want to and you're hankering for something, but we don't use it.
I don't either.
Mm-mm. I use coconut oil sometimes.
Sure. Coconut oil is great. It's
tasty. Have you ever fried chicken in it?
I have.
Like coconut,
yeah,
like the unrefined. It still tastes like coconut, and you fry chicken in it. It's really good.
Yeah.
Roll it in some pork panko, fry it up. You got coconut chicken or shrimp. Do it with shrimp, and you've got coconut shrimp. It's tasty.
Yep. Tim Noakes referenced talking about the not 1 single gram ever thing regarding carbohydrates. Yes, Tim Noakes does say that very often. Mm-hmm. However, let me be clear on this. I was saying that to students in classes 20 years ago when Tim Noakes was publishing books telling people to carb up. All right? So don't give Tim Noakes credit for something that belongs to me. Thanks. What's next?
You control it. What is next?
True. I'm in control here. Well, I'm told I'm in control by this guy, but I'm really not. He's really... Hello! He's really the power behind the throne here in Pimbatia, the independent sovereign nation of Pimbatia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not the only one, Karen. It's not.
I did too. It was horrific. We
Yeah.
tried it. We were like, "Yeah, we're going to try it."
Yep. All right. Here we go. How much grains-fed pigments can I eat per day? If I also eat about 100 grams of herring, sardines, mackerels per day. I don't want to get too much omega-6. Oh, there's a lot of threads in that one question, isn't there?
Oh. Well, I mean, I don't mind grain-fed animals. I think grain-fed animals actually taste better 99% of the time.
Okay, good.
But I mean, I don't know. There's not enough. I don't have enough information. You don't want to get too much omega-6s. I mean, is there really that much omega-6s in pigs?
The ratio of 6-3 in pork versus beef is a bit different. I don't think it's meaningfully different personally. But also what people need to understand, as far as I'm concerned, is that it seems that omega-6s derived from animal sources do not present the problem that omega-6s derived from seed oils do.
Interesting. I had not heard that. That is new.
Yeah.
If you
It's
have
probably down
if
to
you have
deuterium.
Okay.
Yeah, the
I gotta
deuterium
look
status.
I gotta look into more of this deuterium stuff. Like that
Yeah.
one's above me, and I just haven't had time to look into it.
Yeah, it seems to be okay. What I would suggest, though, is if you're eating seafood, such as the kind that you're talking about there, please don't eat it out of a can, and certainly not canned in oil. Absolutely not. Please eat it fresh, caught that day, or at least caught and snap frozen, and eat it. Don't eat anything out of a can. Cans
That's the
are
only
lined
way
with
we
plastic.
can get it here.
Cans are lined with plastic. Not good. Also, oil in a can or in an omega-3 supplement, very, very likely to be rancid. Extremely likely to be rancid. And when I say rancid, I mean oxidized, including very, very dangerous primary and secondary oxidation products, such as aldehydes, which will destroy lipid rafts, kill cell organelles, and derange your DNA, happily, at very, very small concentrations, below the level of normal assays to detect it, actually. If you want to look at a couple of studies on that done with some decent kit, i.e. magnetic resonance spectroscopy, you could have a look at a study or two done by a very, very clever young scientist, or former scientist, name of Pim Jansson, Jansson. She's very, very smart and a bit Swedish and a bit gobby. And you'll also see her live on my channel every Sunday morning our time, Saturday afternoon yours. Anyway, the study is called Aldehydes Identified in Commercially Available Omega-3 Supplements. And it's found in a journal called Nutrition, published in about 2018. So Pim and some other bloke she was working with on that study for some reason, God knows why, did a study and
spell Pim's last name for me again, because I know that
Jansson. As in
I remember if it was two N's or
two S's.
Yeah.
Well,
see,
go to that.
Yeah, I'll have to look that one up because actually I'm really interested in that.
Yep.
No, you were talking about her last name.
Yes.
My husband's last name, like, it's from Norway, and that's why, because it would have been like Rasmussen or something, like the son of Rasmus or Rasmus' daughter, So it's just off the wall.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Here's one of those questions that is posed as a question, but does it actually ask a question about a specific thing that we could answer?
Yeah. So therapeutic ketogenic. So there's a very wide range of therapeutic ketogenic diets. The one that you're probably talking about is the one that was created for epilepsy, or that was used for epilepsy. And it was 90-10. So 90% fat, 10% protein. It was meant for little children. It is sustainable, but it's also not sustainable. Because the protein you do need more protein than that, but it did keep kids from having intractable seizures. But the carnivore stances on protein, I think I fall into the category where I think that women should have about 100 grams of protein. I don't think that anybody really needs, men more obviously, but women don't need much more or much less than that. But it also depends on if you're a bodybuilder, and if you're eating to bulk up. If you're trying to bulk up and build a lot of muscles, you could double your protein. It's not going to hurt you. But is it necessary? I just don't know if it's actually necessary. I think that our threshold is a lot lower than what we think.
Yeah. I tend to suggest around about 2 grams of protein per day per kilo of non-fat mass. Plus or minus about 10 to 20% either way of that. Fine. Yeah. And I actually suggest that whether a person is a bodybuilder or not.
Okay.
But that's just me. Doesn't have to be anybody else's opinion, with the caveat that anyone that disagrees with me on my channel is guilty of hate speech. And they're a bigot.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding, a little bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Yeah, right. Why is everyone getting kidney problems on carnivore? They're not. And low folate, they're not.
They're not.
That's not what's happening. Who told you that, Natalie? Where did you get that disinformation from? It's not correct. What's next? Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'm in charge. I know what's next.
Not me.
Yeah, no, that's not happening, Natalie. Rubbish. Absolute nonsense.
You get folate. Also, like eggs are full. Eggs are a great source of folate.
Yeah. Also, Natalie, don't repeat your questions. We'll get to them, or we won't. You just post it once, especially if it's ridiculous disinformation like that. Dave just did a barrage of tests recently. Incurable cancer, they said to him. He was stage 4, by the way, more than once. He was diagnosed, in remission, back into stage 4 again, back out again. You know, Dave's story is incredible. And they've found zero trace of cancer.
So there's no evidence of disease. NED. Ned. You're Ned.
You're a Ned. Well done,
Ned.
DC. Love it.
I love it. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Type out the 7 habits. I want to see them in the comments.
That's right.
DC.
Okay, DC, there's your challenge for the next few minutes. Type out the 7 habits.
Because somebody can absolutely benefit from that.
Yes. You bet. I mean, like, DC has an incredible story.
I'll have to go look him up. I don't know it. So.
He was so close to death. It's amazing. And frankly, he was so close to death, not because of the cancer. It was because of what they were doing to try and treat the cancer. It was the chemo that just about killed him.
I can believe that.
Anyway, that's for another day. What do you think of the I or L root area, that is, yogurt that Dr. Davis talks about? It's fermented dairy that you can make yourself.
I've made it.
What do you think of fermented dairy? You have? Do you like it?
I have.
Is it good?
No, it tastes horrific.
Okay.
But it's so. Do you guys like Romano cheese or Asiago cheese? Because if you don't like the smell of those, then you will not like the El Ruteri. It's very stench worthy. I cannot do any yogurt. I cannot do dairy. Now, I've considered possibly trying to do it with the coconut milk, but I cannot do like liquid dairy. It tears, like the yogurt. It's only yogurt. It tears my stomach up, and it's just like a low level. I'll eat it, and then 2 hours later, I have this low level ick that lasts for 24 hours. I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I just can't.
That's a clear statement from your body to tell you that you ought not be doing that.
I shouldn't be eating it. Yeah.
Yeah. Others will respond differently a little bit. That's one of those things that does vary. One of the things that varies most between people of different creeds, backgrounds, etc., in terms of nutrition is whether or not they do okay on dairy, whether it's fermented or not. And by the way, this whole thing, we need probiotics. Everything you put in your mouth and swallow is a probiotic. Everything. It all comes with the flora. Yeah. For goodness sake.
I do wish that there was a way to replenish the L. Reuteri because if you've ever had a course of antibiotics, which like 99.9% of the population has, then you wipe it out and it's gone. Like we just don't consume it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, this is one of those questions that doesn't really need an answer. It's pretty clear from the question itself.
Yeah.
That's rubbish. That's a horrific, that's a terrible diet. Stay the hell away from that.
Beans are bad. If you don't cook them, they would kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And here's another question along similar lines. No, that will not suffice.
No,
it will not do.
You need some ruminant meat in there too. Not that tuna and mayonnaise is bad, but...
Depends on how the mayonnaise is made.
Touche. Touchy.
Yep. Touchy, touche. Right. Please smash this one. Title: Have we been lied to about meat? By channel Viva Longevity. Viva Longevity is a channel run by a vegan imbecile, an arrogant ill-educated vegan imbecile by the name of Chris McCaskill, who's recently had a stroke, by the way.
Oh,
It's interesting
I'm
that people
so
are banging on about poor old Mitch having a stroke, and it must have been that diet that he's been on for less than 2 years that caused his stroke, when in fact, Mitch's stroke was caused by a previous surgery that he'd had in his brain, it seems. Nothing to do with his diet. And even if it was to do with his diet, it was to do with the diet that he's consumed over the last 30, 40, 50 years, not the last couple, by the way. Anyway, all the vegans going, oh, look, carnivore has a stroke. Well, hello, Chris, vegan having a stroke. Oopsie.
I think we need to stop like throwing darts at people, because seriously, we're all going to die of something.
Yep.
And you know what? Most likely it's going to be one of the top 5. I'm just saying, like, so it's going to happen. So stop being buttholes to people. Let the vegans do what the vegans do.
I've been keeping a butthole to vegans, though.
Well, you can. I'm not allowed. I'm not going to be. Yeah, I would rather somebody go vegan than continue to eat trash, because at least they're willing to change their change their behaviors. Doesn't mean it's the right behavior, but at least they're willing to make a radical change. Because then we can start pulling them over to the carnivore side.
Yeah,
coaxing them.
Natalie's not done yet.
Okay.
My folate levels are extremely low. According to whom, on the basis of what? I want to have a baby. Okay. I increased liver. Don't do that, please. Bad idea. In fact, but still it is not enough folate. Again, on the basis of what? According to whom? Are you sure our ancestors didn't eat some fruits and berries and other plants? I didn't say they didn't.
I mean, some
at any
did.
Stage ever.
So here's my thing: is that have you checked your the MTHFR gene, because you might not be methylating, and that's a possibility too. You might not be able to methylate it, and so that could be a problem. In fact, I think 50% of the population has at least one copy of the MTHFR gene. So Dr. Kiltz is he does have a free community, Dr. Kiltz at Kiltz's Mighty Tribe. I'm in there too.
You're everywhere, Rebecca.
Oh my gosh, did you see that I'm now in the Apex Collective?
Nice.
Yeah, with Rob. So it's like
cool. Yeah, but I love Rob. Rob is a great bloke. He's awesome.
Fantastic. He is. It seems like he's bitten off a lot though lately.
Yeah. Now, Rob and I will both be presenting on a one-day conference to be held in Melbourne, Australia.
Rob's going to be there too?
He is, as far as I'm aware, on the 26th of April, 2025. Melbourne, Australia. It's called the Carnivore Collective Live. I
want to see.
Be there.
I can't go. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm in class. And I'm poor. I'm taking donations.
Good. Yep. Everybody send money to Rebecca. And also send me some, because Ted is not cheap to feed.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Feed Ted.
Yep.
But yeah, Dr. Kiltz is great, Natalie. Natalie, go check him out. And he does consults too. I mean, he's helped a lot of people get pregnant.
Yep. Right. So, Dennis, assuming that you are of European descent, as in not African or Asian, assuming that you are not a heavily muscle building athlete.
He's very tall.
Okay,
I think
Dennis?
he's 6. He's like 6. He's 6'3"-ish.
Cool. Awesome.
I think
right,
he's a very, very tall dude. A DEXA scan.
Well, you could do it if you want an absolute answer, but if you want the best guesstimate as to what it is, here's what you do. Take your height in meters, not feet and inches, not centimeters, your height in meters. Okay, so I am 168 centimeters in height, or 5'6".
He's 6'4", 270.
Rightio. Anyway, take your height in meters. So if he's 6'4", he's around about 2 meters tall, give or take. Multiply that number of your height in meters by itself. So in this case, it's going to be about 4. Multiply that number by 22.5, which is the smack middle of the ideal BMI range. And that will give you an answer of what your lean body mass in kilograms ought to be. Give or take. Okay? There's your answer.
But if you want to know exactly what yours is, then you'll have to go get a scan.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, honey bunny. I guess that means you, because nobody calls me honey bunny.
Hi, Amy. Yes.
Yeah.
Miss
Well,
Amy.
actually, no, there is one person in the world that does call me honey bunny.
Well,
you know who you are, Jess.
If you have not talked to Amy, her story, or you haven't seen her story, you need to go look up her story.
Yeah.
She is a geneticist dream or nightmare, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Awesome. Good. Yes, Joff, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In terms of the pH thing. Yep.
Yep. Exactly.
Cool. Yep. Right. Is duck fat good on a carnivore diet? Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Duck eggs are also great.
Mm-hmm. I don't like duck eggs. I'm a weirdo.
Do you not?
I don't like the texture.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, quail eggs, if I didn't have to crack 12 of them to get a meal.
Yeah. We've got quail that run around on our lawn just about every morning. Big family of them, big group of them.
That's awesome.
I don't know what that means in quail language, but it probably means we're here. We're quail. Or something, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Oh, Drew. We're not here to talk about politics. And frankly, anyone with that kind of attitude towards politics, the party.
I didn't see it.
Good. Not worth seeing.
I'm politicked out for a while.
Yeah. That's one of the possibilities. Maybe you left it too late. The other thing that might be interfering with somebody's fertility is the thing that we can't talk about.
Well, that too. Well, I will say this too. I'm a huge, I've been reading Dr. Stephanie Seneff's book, Toxic Legacy. And I really think that glyphosate is a huge culprit in so many problems today.
Yeah. Okay, let's correct this one just because it's pathological for me and I can't leave it alone and I absolutely have to correct it every single time I see it. Can't help myself. Let me tell you some facts about calories. It is a physical impossibility to consume any calories ever. You can't do it, let alone before or after 4 p.m. Calories are nothing to do with metabolism whatsoever. Wrong word. Get it out of your lexicon. Get rid of it. Calories are units of heat energy and nothing else. That's what they are by definition, by measurement, and by any other way you want to look at them. They're made manifest as photons, which are excitations of the electromagnetic field. Now, Rebecca, just remind us what the exact rest mass of the electromagnetic field is.
I don't know. Oh, there you go, zero.
So no amount of adding or removing photons from your system will change your mass in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. And digestion. So protein is the slowest digestion. It takes longer and it can be up to 2 to 3 days for you to finish digesting. So you would have to fast for 2 to 3 days and still be cycling out from your intestines to actually have everything out. Yeah. So it is continuously a very slow process that just kind of trickles down. So people are like, oh, I ate and then 24 hours I pooped it out. No, that was 3 days ago. That was your 3 days ago food.
Yeah. Okay. So to make your question make any sense whatsoever, what you need to do is remove the word calories and substitute the word food in it. Then it makes perfect sense. Is there any benefit to eating the majority of your food before 4 p.m. so that the stomach has time to digest it before going to bed? No, there's no benefit in that. There you go.
Because it's going to be digesting at all times. It doesn't just stop. digesting. It's just the level of motility changes depending on whether you're in rest and digest or whether you're in fight or flight.
Yeah. Do you know anything about lion's mane?
It's a shroom.
Yeah.
There's a fungus among us.
A fungus among us, yes.
Not a huge fungus fan.
No, neither. But the idea is that lion's mane is supposedly associated
It's a
with
nootropic.
and it's supposedly involved in forming new connections in the brain.
My husband tried it, and he was like, I don't see any difference.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like the coffee, the lion's mane coffee, and you want to drink it, whatever.
Yeah,
but I didn't.
cool.
I know.
Is he still acting up, or have they actually promoted him?
So the way that it works is that he made the sergeant major list. So he goes to the sergeant major academy, and then they will promote him supposedly this summer. But the Army likes to be like, okay, we're going to put you in a sergeant major position as an EA.
But we're going to pay you as a master sergeant anyway.
Yes.
Right.
So we don't know. We don't know when that's going to happen. Yay.
Yes. Apparently someone that can speak quail says I just quailed a cuss word.
I love you, Amy.
Yeah. Well, who knew? I mean, most of my cuss words are English. So
I know.
Anyone that wants to hear more cuss words from me, if you look at a video on my channel, which was made about 3 years ago by my good friend, Dr. Ryan Attar, ND, type 1 diabetic, carnivore, who keeps his A1C around about 4.6, his time in range at 100%, and his average blood glucose in the 80s, by the way. He made a video of where he just cut together a whole bunch of me swearing at people for several minutes. And it was in recognition of my 50th, which was 3 years ago, yesterday.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
It is funny. It's hilarious. I laugh every time I watch it. Yeah.
It would burn my ears, probably.
Perhaps, because there are one or two very, very short words. And some of those words refer to next Tuesday, if you know what I mean. See you next Tuesday.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That word. The C word, not calories, the other C word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Right. Is the polyunsaturated nature of poultry fat unhealthy? No.
No.
Seems not. You wouldn't base your diet on it. Your diet should be based on ruminant meats.
Yeah. I wouldn't eat just chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just about out of time, by the way, because I've got an appointment that I have to get to straight after this. So we will close off with this question. Sorry for those we didn't get to, but I do need to deal with this one.
Well, there's also a $5 super chat. Somebody sent
did I miss one? Oh, better bring that up. Thank you, Niall. Appreciate it very much. What are your thoughts on fat-only fast for the purpose of fat loss? Also, thoughts on natural sleep aids other than a shot of vodka.
Okay. I'm okay with fat fasts. I'm okay with fat fast for fat loss. I think that they help regulate hormones very well. And that can, I think they're fine. And yeah, that's me. Natural sleep aids. Yeah. We take passion flower and it helps us a lot.
Cool. Awesome. Yep. I don't disagree.
I'm not a big fan of alcohol.
No, I am, unfortunately. It's one of my failings. Anyway, that's
why I abstain.
Yes. My last drink was, not that many days ago, because I just turned 53.
Oh, wow.
That was an excuse to enable myself to poison myself. Don't do that. Silly. Right, let's deal with this. Seventh-day Adventist studies. Okay. Propaganda, disinformation.
Yeah.
The vegans had higher life expectancy than the veggies. No, they didn't, actually. And higher than the meat eaters. No. If you look at the raw data of the Seventh-day Adventist Health Study number 2, where they had 4 quartiles of meat consumption and a 5th quartile called the zeroth, the vegans within their group, look at the raw data for the incidence of heart disease, cancer, dementia, all-cause mortality, all of it, the highest rate of all those diseases and mortality from all causes was in the vegan group. They used adjustment of their data to 180 degrees ass about face.
I
They
have
lied.
isn't that Kellogg and all them?
Kellogg was a Seventh-day Adventist, I believe,
Yep.
but he's not involved in that particular study.
No, but
Yeah.
I have a problem with anybody that tells me to eat vegan that also sexually mutilated little girls and little boys.
Mm. Yeah.
Sorry. Like you completely invalidated yourself.
Yeah.
And they were putting carbolic acid on little girls' twats. So that they wouldn't have sexual feelings. So, you know what? Seventh-day Adventist? No.
Okay. All right.
That's
good. I
just pissed off a bunch of people.
Oh, well, shit happens. And then you die. Even if you are a vegan. Possibly having a stroke beforehand, Chris McCaskill.
100%. It's the only
thing. And I will
thing.
keep throwing darts at you, Chris, because you're one of those people that I will see next Tuesday. Right.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
This has been fun.
Yes, it has. Thank you, Rebecca, for your valuable time. Thanks for being here. I really do have to race now because I've got someone waiting for me for, consultancy and all that kind of stuff. So, hey, let's do this again. Have your people talk to my people. These are my people. Send them an email and we'll sort it out. In the meantime, thank you all for being here. And we will finish in the usual fashion by singing the national anthem of Pimbatia, which goes a bit like this. Steak and eggs and steak. That's what you should have for your breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and eggs, even duck eggs. Just making sure you heard. I think they got it, Ted. Fabulous. See you next time. Don't do anything I would, including using that kind of language that I tend to use a bit. See you then. Ciao for now.